Going on, Ravens flock? What is going on, Purple Rain gang family? My name is Sutton Def. You are back watching the Purple Rain podcast YouTube channel. This is Quiet Storm Sports, where we cover all things Baltimore Ravens every single day. If that sounds good to you, please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We got some things to get into today, right? Nate Wiggins gave the Ravens a major, and when I say major, I mean major injury scare. That and so much more here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Let's get into it.
You're watching Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Subscribe for more Ravens content.
Yes, sir, and we are back just like that with another episode of Quiet Storm Sports right here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. I am your host, Sutton Def, and welcome back in to the channel. Welcome back into the show here. You guys know we do these live. So shout out to everybody who's watching live right now. If you're part of the replay gang, though, right? So if you couldn't make the live, that's okay. If you're listening to this after the fact, special shout out to you. Salute to you. Thank you so much for coming through. Please be sure to comment down below your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns on anything pertaining to this episode and the Ravens. All right. So let's go ahead and get into who's here in the live chat first. Of course, we got to give a shout out to the live chat. Spicy Rice, what's going on, Spicy Rice? King Blaze in the live chat. I see some members in the chat too. Ashley's in the live chat. What's going on, Ashley? Good evening to you. King Lee 444 is in here as well. What's going on, brother? King Blaze, Void, what up, what up, what up? Thank y'all so much for coming through to this episode. We also have Shelly Shell in the building. What up, Shelly Shell? Another member. Speaking of the members, before I get too far into this episode, fantasy football. Like I told you guys yesterday on the main pod, our first Rain Gang Fantasy Football League, it filled up, and it filled up pretty quickly. So we got a couple requests from other members of the channel who said, hey, do you think you guys can maybe open up a second one, right? Because we really want to play too. And I talked to Alex about it, and he thought it was a good idea. So we did that. We did exactly that. The second Rain Gang League is now live. It's still recruiting. I think there's still, like six or seven spots left, one of the two. But if you are a channel member and you want to join, all you have to do is go onto our YouTube channel, the actual homepage for our YouTube channel, and click on the post tab. And if you are a member, there will be a post visible to you where you can click on that link and join the league. And again, how we're going to do it is we're going to pit the two leagues against each other at the very end of the season, right? So the season will both, end at the same time, and the winner from each league, whoever has the most points for throughout the season, will end up winning the entire thing. Okay, that's how we're going to do it. But yeah, shout out to everybody who's already signed up for it so far. If you have not already and you want to, you still do have a chance. You still do have an opportunity. This is the last one we're doing. We're not opening up a third one now. That'd be a little bit too much for your boy Sutton to handle. Okay, so if you do still want into the Rain Gang Fantasy League, you still have a chance, okay? Now, Replay Gang, I don't know if the spot's going to be filled up by the time you're listening to this. But again, if you're a member, you can go and check and see for yourself. But again, shout out to everybody for coming through to this one. We got a lot of things to get to. Obviously, Ravens had another padded practice today. It was their first one of the week because they skipped Monday. So they worked Sunday, they were off Monday, and they practiced again Tuesday. So technically, it's the second practice of the week since Sunday's technically the beginning of the week. But alas, a bunch of stuff, a ton of news from that practice earlier today. So let's go ahead and kick it off with this. Elephant in the room. Am I right? Elephant in the room. Let's go ahead and pull us over to our media screen here so we can just share what went down earlier today at Ravens training camp practice. By the way, I see you. The man 0101 is in the chat. Dylan is in the chat as well. What up? Appreciate y'all for coming through. But yes. You can see on the screen here. The story kind of swept the NFL in a way, right? I was actually following this story before the news even dropped. Okay. There was a couple of sources from people who were actually at the training camp. And I was hearing just like, oh, Nate Wiggins went down. We don't know what's happening. But the beat reporters, they would just not report on it for the longest. Right. It took them like another 45 minutes to report on it. And they all did it once. And I think the thing is, for the beat reporters, they have a handshake agreement with the team that, while they're watching these training camp practices, if somebody gets injured, they can't post about it in real time. Right. They can't post about it in real time. So there were just these rumors floating around for the longest, but then it actually came out, from the reliable sources that it was true. And he got hurt. So Nate Wiggins, of course, first round pick in 2024. He was carted off at practice today with an apparent lower leg injury. And to give you a little bit more context and detail as to exactly what happened, he appeared to get his feet tangled on a one-on-one wide receiver versus DB drill and landed awkwardly. By the way, the receiver he was going up against was Jacoby Lane, which apparently Nate Wiggins has been going at Jacoby Lane. He's been taking on the challenge. I think that before I get deeper into the injury, I think that a lot of these veteran cornerbacks on the team, a la Nate Wiggins, a la Marlon Humphrey, right? They're tired. They're tired. I mean, I'm sure they're very proud of this young kid, Jacoby Lane, making plays, play after play in practice and stuff like that. But they're tired of like this guy just dominating the headlines. They're like, no, you're not about to just embarrass us. So I love them taking on the mantle. They're like, hey, look, we're the vets here. I want to go at this kid. This kid's good, but I want to go at him. And apparently that's what Nate Wiggins did earlier today. And they had a couple of reps against each other. But then on this last rep here, like I read from Jonas Schaefer, they ended up getting tangled up. And Nate Wiggins landed awkwardly on his left leg. And he was in some pain too. He was in some clear and visible pain. And he was on the ground for a minute. And of course, like I mentioned before, the cart had to come out and take him off the field. So that was like devastating news. Devastating news. I mean, I rushed to go make a video right after that. I'm scouring the internet for, okay, who can we acquire out of free agency? Like what corners are available? I came across guys like Kenny Moore, Trayvon Diggs, Tre'Davious White. I'm doing all the research. Cause like, what the hell is going on? We gonna need some help. And even after the most recent update, I still feel like we might still need a little bit more insurance in that secondary. I believe that. Because outside of Nate Wiggins, if he were to go down, who else is going to play that outside cornerback role opposite not Trayvon Diggs, but Cheeto Awuzie? Now, the easy answer would be, okay, yeah, we'll throw TJ Tampa out there. TJ Tampa, he's been impressing in training camp and stuff like that. And he's always been pretty solid. I mean, even on Sundays when you see him play, because he's been with the team a few years now, he's not terrible, right? So he was a viable option if they're out there. But like, if that's what you're going into the season with, and beyond that, you're looking at guys like Amani Oruwariye or Bilal Kone, that would have been an issue. That would have been an issue. Like going into the season being already that thin at corner would have been an issue. So I thought that, and I still do believe that the Ravens should at least try to do their due diligence and kick the tires on some of those older guys that I just mentioned before. Just to see. The Ravens don't have too much cap space. They got about $12.9 million in available cap space right now. A lot of those guys I just named were making close to like $8 to $10 million in their previous contracts annually. So I don't know how they would make that work. But again, man, all I know is that Jesse Minter better have the utmost confidence in the depth in this cornerback room. Now, it was reported earlier today. Let me go ahead and find this actually. It was reported earlier today, actually about an hour ago, I want to say, chat, that apparently Nate Wiggins, he's going to be okay. This tweet came from Jeff Zaribek with a report from Ian Rappaport. The Ravens, after Nate Wiggins' MRI, they believe that the young cornerback avoided a major injury per source. He could be sidelined for a bit, but the expectation is that he's back sooner rather than later. He's going to be back sooner rather than later, chat. Give him some praise. Give him some praise, chat. Because that's what we love to hear. Because for me, it was all doom and gloom. Just a couple of hours ago, I'm thinking, oh my God, we lost Nate Wiggins. Now we're extremely thin at corner. I mean, I immediately got flashbacks of Devontae Harris. If you know, you know. Immediately got flashbacks. Okay. So the fact that, again, it's coming out that Nate Wiggins is going to be okay. He'll probably miss, I'd say, maybe a couple of weeks. Good news is the Ravens don't play a regular season game for a month and 2 days, right? Got about like 32 days, something like that, give or take, until, we're going to be expecting the starters to be out there in full effect, right? So I think it's a pretty nice runway for Nate Wiggins to recover, not only recover, but then ramp up and getting back into to playing speed and playing shape again. Not that he's not already, but he's going to have time to ramp up coming off of this injury. Now, we still don't have an official diagnosis as of yet with how they're saying that there's no structural damage, because that's the big news here. There's no structural damage to Nate Wiggins' leg upon the MRI. Which leads me to believe, and don't quote me because I am not a doctor. I'm not Dr. Death, okay? But it leads me to believe, okay, maybe it was just a sprain, right? Maybe it was like a little hyperextension, a mild hyperextension, something like that. And I kind of knew from jump that it was probably not going to be as serious as we thought. I had to assume the worst, right? I mean, he's down on the ground. He's clearly in some pain. He gets carted off. I have to assume the worst. But normally, when it is a catastrophic leg injury, like a torn ACL, MCL, whatever, right, up in that knee, you normally know immediately. You normally know sooner, much sooner, rather than later. Much sooner. And we didn't get that type of news. Like, we didn't get that, like, oh, he was holding the knee, banging on the ground, crying. Like, we didn't get that. We didn't get that. He was just in some pain, had to get carted off. A huge scare, massive scare. But apparently he's going to be okay, and thank God. Thank God. Now, I'm going to put it like this. Because you know what? Let me actually show you guys something really quick. Let me show you something real quick. Let me see. Go on the Ravens page because they had posted it. Here we go.
The one-on-one.
Here's Jesse Minter talking about it earlier.
Nate, go down during the one-on-one portion. Don't have a ton of information on that yet. We'll kind of get it looked at, see where it's at. Nate.
You know what? I love about Jesse Minter? He's such a cool customer. He ain't got no worries, not a care in the world. He's like, hey, we haven't, look, man, we're going to get it looked at. He also said, not in this clip here, but he said that there was some optimism for that injury. So I got to say it. Jesse Minter is 2 for 2 on being right about these players' injuries. You remember what happened with Zay Flowers the other day? He came back. He said, no, we feel good about it. We're optimistic about it. Next thing you know, Zay Flowers only misses one practice, and he's back. We'll get into that later. He missed one practice. And now, Nate Wiggins, after everybody assumed, including myself, we all assumed that, oh, this is going to be catastrophic. He's going to be out for, maybe 2 to 4 months. We're not going to start the season with Nate Wiggins. People are going to be targeting whoever's going to be TJ Tampa, Bilal Coney out there on an island. Now we got to worry about that. But apparently not. Now, it does suck that, because you guys remember a couple months ago, maybe not a couple months ago, maybe like a month and a half ago, something like that. Nate Wiggins was on an interview saying how he's finally 100% healthy and how he has not been 100% healthy pretty much his entire career. You guys remember that interview, right? So to know now that he's dealing with something in his leg, because for him to come back, I'm sure he's probably not going to be 100%. Not 100%, at least not right away. That concerns me a bit. And it's also another reason why I do believe that the Ravens, Eric DeCosta, that is, should be on the phones right now, seeing what guys are willing to play for. Because, you cannot have, and I can't stress this enough, you cannot have enough depth at cornerback. If you've been watching this Ravens team for, I'd say even 10 plus years, if you've been watching this Ravens team for about 10 plus years, at least, you know how frustrating right? It is to watch this Ravens team when they're depleted at cornerback. It's maddening. Because you get quarterbacks who drop back and they're like, oh yeah, that guy, that third string guy who's being forced to start against our first stringers, I'm just gonna target him on an island all day. All day. And it don't even have to be the best quarterbacks either. It could be a bang average quarterback. If you got a weak link in that cornerback room, either out far right or far left, they're going after him. They're going after him. All day long. All day long. Nike says, I like Trey White or Trayvon Diggs. I agree. Dylan says Kenny Moore. Yeah, I spoke on all three of those guys in the video earlier today. Kenny Moore actually had the highest grade out of free agent cornerbacks, considering the amount of snaps he played. He played over 700 snaps, had about a 66.7 grade, which is not bad. I mean, it's basically like equivalent to what Chido Awuzie did last year, PFF grade wise, right? Take that with a grain of salt. Do with that information what you will. Spicy Rice says, we got a lot of corners in camp right now. We do. Interestingly enough, I've been hearing that when the Ravens throw out their dime package, so 6 DBs on the field, they're utilizing Keon Martin more. So that's something to look out for as well. TJ Tampa and Keon Martin are going to be pivotal pieces on this defense. We don't know it yet. But I listen, I'd bet my bottom dollar that by about week 7, week 8, those guys will be getting some run. Okay, they're going to be getting some run, whether it be because of somebody going down with an injury, which I think is inevitable. It's football. It happens, right? Whether it be somebody's not performing up to par, whatever it's going to be, those guys are going to get their opportunities. 100%. Bilal Kone and Tampa have been good. That's what I've been hearing. Be sure to like the video, y'all, if you're just getting in here. Thank you so much for joining us here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Void says, nah, let this coaching staff do more with less. That's what people said all offseason in regards to defensive personnel anyway. And Void, you know what? I actually agree with this. I think if you're EDC, you still go out and do your job, right? But also, if you're Jesse Minter, it's like, okay, this is part of the job. Like, I have to, Jesse Minter, that is, I have to act as like a boost for some of these lesser talented players. Like, my scheme and where I put these guys on the chessboard, aka the gridiron, should put them in the most advantageous positions to make plays, even though they might not be the most talented, even though they might not be the most athletic on the team. My scheme is supposed to be able to boost these guys' production. And now I have a golden opportunity with my cornerback 1 kind of being on shaky, footing right now in terms of health-wise. Let me see what TJ Tampa's working with. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what Bilal Kone's got. Keon Martin. Let me see what they can do in some real spots. This Saturday is going to be hella interesting, y'all. I'm telling you. We need Nate versus the Cowboys. Oh, that's for damn sure. I do not want to see CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, and our best cornerback is Chido Awuzie. Because I said this in the video, as good as Chido was last year, he does strike me as the type of player who could just fall off a cliff at any time. And it's like, what happened? Oh, yeah, that's right. He is getting old, right? We're going to look up one day and be, oh, that's right. Yeah, he is kind of getting old. So we expected him to kind of, fall off production-wise eventually. By the way, we got a member, King Lee, celebrating 7 months. Oh, no, not 7 months. I'm sorry. 2 months. 2 months of channel membership for King Lee. Thank you so much, brother. Says 2 months strong. Wiggins be ready week 1 or 2. Let's freaking go. I wouldn't mind him not playing week 1. Apparently, Indianapolis, their wide receiver 1, Alec Pierce, is looking like he's going to be iffy for week 1. They don't know if he's going to play. So if Nate's not 100%, I say don't rush him back. Hell, week 1 or 2. Week 2, home at the bank against the Saints. I mean, Jordan Tyson's looking damn good in camp. I'll give you that. Chris Olave is a good player. But I think that the Ravens offense, Lamar Jackson at home, again, home opener, it'd be a little bit too much for the Saints. And I don't think that Nate Wiggins' lack of or the lack of his presence would be too impactful on the game. Now, week 3 in Brazil, if need be, I'm okay with that being Nate Wiggins' first game. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Again, depending on the severity of this leg injury that he's dealing with right now. Because like I said before, we still do not have an official diagnosis or timetable as to exactly when we can expect him back. But depending on the severity, if it's like a couple of weeks thing or maybe like a 4-week timetable, something like that, just to make sure he's good to go, I'm hesitant putting him out there week 1. With no Alec Pierce. And then week 2, I mean, you got Olave and Tyson, but can Tyler Shuck get them the ball? With Nnamdi Madubuike, now Travis Jones, Trey Hendrickson, Kyle Hamilton getting after him? I don't know. I don't know. But I do know Dallas week 3 in Brazil, it's going to be a crazy atmosphere. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens are going to come to play. You know that. We're going to need Nate Wiggins for that. If anything else, just for the attitude that he's going to bring against those guys. I mean, Nate Wiggins versus George Pickens, cinema. Because those guys are going to absolutely go at it. They're going to go at it. Thank you so much, King Lee, for renewing the membership. We appreciate that, brother. Tila, Miss Mod is in the building. What's going on, Tila? Good evening to you. King Lee says, are you going live Saturday? I was thinking about it. I probably will. I'm definitely going live during all regular season games. Regular season games, you can expect your boy Sutton to be live reacting to the games. It's going to be me. It's going to be Ace, side by side. My girl's going to be there too. It's going to be a good time. But Saturday, though, I do want to go live. I normally don't go live on Saturdays, but it's a special occasion, So, yeah, I'm going to go live, King Lee. I'm going to go live. I ain't doing nothing else. But watching the Ravens play anyway. Might as well watch it with y'all. Sutton been drinking. Oh, a little something. I got a little wine today. That's all. I had to take the edge off. Tila. This. I mean, you just hit me up on Twitter about it. This news about Nate Wiggins got me stressed. With a K. Stressed. All right. I trust the safety versus Cowboys. Understandable. Kyle can play corner, right? Kyle can play like that nickel corner. He can. I wouldn't put him on the outside. That's really not his thing, even though he could do that. Don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't put him out there. But no, I think we have other options before we're leaning on Kyle to consistently line up against receivers on the outside. Nate Wiggins is playing week 1. I hope so. World Class, what up? What up, World Class? Nero says reporting from Coach's channel. Oh, that's right. Coach was just live. I was just in his live. What's going on, y'all? Afia's here too. What up, Afia? Stretch, I see you. Monty, I see you. Smitty, I see you. Stretch 52, I see you too. Yeah. Let me see. World Class says, I got my money on Bilal Kone making the team and Nate being ready by week 2. And see, that's what I say. Like, I'm not rushing him back. I mean, I don't need him week 2. I don't. I think we can handle the Saints. Week 3 against the Cowboys. See, because I think the Ravens are going to go 2-0, right, to start the season. Then you're going to have the national media. All of the people who have been discrediting the Ravens, they're not going to win their division. On paper, they're nowhere near as good as the Bengals. People have been saying these things in the national media. And on those 3 to 4 letter networks, they've been saying these things. So after the Ravens start off 2-0, knock on wood, because I hope that actually does come to fruition. After they start 2-0, everybody's going to say, they haven't played anybody. They played Daniel Jones and Tyler Shuck. They haven't played anybody. But there's going to be a Brazil game, week 3, against the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I hate that Brazil game is not going to be prime time. I believe it's on Netflix, but it comes on, if I'm remembering correctly, since Brazil's in like the same time zone, it comes on the same time as the regular 1 o'clock games. Or for me here, the 12 o'clock games. So it's not a prime time game. It's an international game, but it's not prime time. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know if that's ever even happened before, but it's weird to me. How am I feeling about Rivers? Rivers, listen. Chandler Rivers, he is a guy who apparently the Ravens have been utilizing on some cornerback blitz type of plays and things like that. And I love that for him. I love that for him. That was his thing in college. Yes, they said he's doing good. We just got to keep, again, you talk about Saturday. I mean, Chandler Rivers, he's probably in my top 5, lower into that top 5, but in my top 5 of like guys who I'm looking out for. Because again, DB depth is now on my radar. It's now on my radar. I know we said Nate Wiggins is going to be good, but respectfully, bump that because it's a long season. Nate Wiggins is not the most durable guy. I mean, as we've seen in years past, he's not the most durable guy. So it is on the table that he could potentially maybe be in and out. You know, so guys like Chandler Rivers, guys like Keon Martin, Keandre Jackson, TJ Tampa, Bilal Kone, all those guys, Robert Longerbeam, they got to step up now. It's time to see what those guys have. Coach, what's going on? Sip 2 Tally. Appreciate you for coming through. Coach actually coming back on the channel tomorrow. Little spoiler alert, Coach and Nitro tomorrow. Okay? It's going to be the trouble trio. Cuz y'all know how it goes when me, Coach, and Nitro get on the same stream. Y'all know how that goes. That's tomorrow though. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Should be a great one. I want to see Nate at 100%. 100p for sure. 100p. Paramount at 425. Is that the time for the game? I thought it was like an early game. Hold on, let me see. Let me look this up real quick. Let me see. Ravens versus Cowboys. Oh yeah, you're right. 4 o'clock game. So still not prime time, but I'm assuming it's going to be what, America's game of the week on Fox. I'm assuming. Or no, it's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be on ESPN. Okay. I'm cool with it. I normally don't really prefer when the Ravens play in the 4 o'clock window, right? I like to, because it's just too much anticipation. Like, honestly, playing at the 4 o'clock window to me is even worse than playing like the night game on Sunday night. Like, I hate the 4 o'clock because that's like my chill, like almost nap time. Sometimes I'll be taking naps. I'm not going to lie. During that second window, after I've gotten myself worked up over a Ravens game for the past 3 hours, you know, if I'm streaming, maybe I'm drinking, whatever. By the time 4 o'clock come around, I'm your boy getting old. Okay. I be wanting to lay it down. I do. But I'll be up for that one. I will be standing at attention for that one. For sure. All right, chat. It's time to go ahead and get into the happenings of today's practice. Dylan says Sutton Bateman's going to be mad if you don't draft him in fantasy. I will. I'm going to stand by him. Okay? I'm going to draft him in fantasy. Don't you worry about it. I'm going to post the proof too. NFL making me get every damn streaming service. Facts, man. Facts. I draw the line at so I have Paramount because that's partnered with CBS. You know, the Ravens play a lot of games on CBS. So I have Paramount. And I have, during the season, I'll get Peacock too. You know, because I like to watch those Sunday night football games without a hitch and stuff. So I'll get Peacock as well. Everything else is like Fire Stick. I'm going to just say that. Fire Stick. That's what it is. That's what it is. Listen, guys, about 100 people watching live right now across platforms. We thank y'all so much for coming through this episode of Quiet Storm Sports right here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Okay. Before we move on, like the video, sub as well if you're new. But let's get into the happenings of today's camp. Okay. The happenings of today's camp. I'm going to go through these little tidbits of information here that the Ravens put out on their website. So first notes from today's practice, veteran cornerback Marlon Humphrey had one of his best practices yet with a pass breakup against none other than Mark Andrews, who apparently has been struggling, man. Apparently the tight ends as a whole do not look very good right now. They don't look very good right now. But glad to hear that Marlon Humphrey finally made a little play, right? Marlon, I got your jersey still, bro. You got to give me a reason to wear that. You feel me? Like, I need to see more from our guy 4-4. I do. But he had a good practice today, so that's good news. That's a good sign, especially considering, with this Nate Wiggins news, somebody else got to step up. Glad to hear it came from a vet today. Fellow cornerback TJ Tampa, who has been one of the standouts of training camp so far, had a sack and broke up a pass. Wide receiver Devontae Walker did slip by TJ Tampa on a tackle attempt on the sideline for a long gain. So TJ Tampa, he's another guy. Again, I'm looking at these cornerbacks in the room. Everybody not named Nate Wiggins or Marlon Humphrey or really Chido Awuzie. I'm looking at them with a very close magnifying glass because who's going to step up? I would love for it to be TJ Tampa, who, by the way, apparently EDC got some phone calls, some teams trying to trade for TJ Tampa. And that news came out this morning before practice started. So imagine how I was feeling about that news about 3-4 hours later with this whole Nate Wiggins stuff. EDC, you might as well go ahead and delete them voicemails, brother. You might as well delete them voicemails. Okay? Because do not let go of TJ Tampa. Do not. Unless somebody makes you an offer you can't refuse. In which case, we'll listen. Cornerback Bilal Kone nearly intercepted a Lamar Jackson pass intended for Tez Walker. Bilal Kone also blanketed a receiver during one-on-one drills and shared a sack with outside linebacker Adisa Isaac. So that's three. I mean, that's 3 notes already of cornerbacks making plays in lieu of Nate Wiggins going down. That's good news. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. Let's move on. Rookie cornerback Chandler Rivers, we just talked about him, notched a sack on Lamar Jackson. He also broke up an end zone fade intended for fellow rookie Elijah Surratt at the end of practice. Surratt initially caught the pass, but the 5'10" Rivers fought through the catch point to knock it loose. So, okay. Chandler Rivers playing with a little bit of dog in him, a little bit of fight. I mean, 5'10", of course, Elijah Surratt's got 4 inches on him. I think Surratt's 6'3", I want to say. He got about 4 inches on him. And so the fact that Chandler Rivers met him at the catch point, jarred that ball loose, I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more of that, Mr. Rivers. I'd like to see more of that. Moving on, second-year safety Keandre Jackson also won his red zone one-on-one rep against rookie tight end Josh Cuevas. It was an up-and-down day for Josh Cuevas, who may have caught more passes than anyone, but also had a couple of drops. Josh Cuevas, you're in my top 5 players I'm looking out for on Saturday. Chandler Rivers, Josh Cuevas, those are 2 out of my 5 here. I'm sure I'll get through more of them as we go along. Okay. Let me see. What else do we have here? All right, some special teams love. Why not, right? Why not? You had Tyler Loop continuing to stay hot. He went 7 for 7 on his live field goal attempts. He hit from 34, 35, 2 from 39. He hit from 41, 42, and 47 yards out. And that makes the 3rd consecutive day that Tyler Loop has not missed. Now, while I do love this news about Tyler Loop, I was watching last night. I was in bed. Couldn't figure out what to watch. I said, you know what? Football season's right around the corner. Let me just go back and rewatch some of the condensed games that the Ravens lost last season. And as you know, the condensed games are different from just watching the highlights from those games because you actually get to see every single play. They just show them like quick, fast, in a hurry. It's like rapid fire with all the plays. So it took about 45 minutes for me to get through the first game that I watched, which was Ravens versus Patriots. You guys remember that catastrophe, that meltdown, right? In that game, a couple things happened in that game that I forgot about. But Tyler Loop had back-to-back blunders when it came to kicking, right? He missed an extra point, and then he followed that up with getting a penalty on the kickoff for kicking it out of bounds. So I don't know what it is. I mean, I guess, like, listen, let me not sugarcoat it. Tyler Loop's got to show up when the pressure is on. He's got to show up when the pressure's on. You know, that's my only thing about Loop. I said earlier this offseason, I give him grace for missing that kick against the Steelers to end the season. Because prior to that kick, we had never asked Tyler Loop to be, you know, put in such a tough spot before. So now that he's kind of gotten that experience, he's kind of calloused in that way. I do expect him to bounce back this year, but I have to see it, though. I have to see it. I have to see it. And I'm not going to lie, I was one of the ones who had a slight overreaction to the training camp practice where, you know, it was kind of iffy on the 2 kicks, right? And then he made the third one definitively. But I'm just like, what is it about Tyler Loop in front of crowds? Like, what is it about that? So I won't put Tyler Loop on my top 5 magnifying players for, you know, this season because I think it's a foregone conclusion. He's our guy. Right, the Ravens are going to start him one way or another. So, you know, just kind of got to deal with that. But we'll see. We will see. All right, moving along here. What else do we have? So, Tez Walker had perhaps the best day of anyone on the offensive side of the football. We love to hear that. He also rose up to catch a laser from Lamar Jackson on a slant in the red zone. That's what I love. I mean, I love that. He's making red zone plays. Apparently, he had a couple big chunk plays down the field. So Tez Walker had himself a day today. Apparently also Elijah Surratt had himself a nice day too. So in a day where Jacoby Lane wasn't really the talk of the town, other guys stepped up. And that's what I love to hear. I'd be kind of annoyed, right, if Jacoby Lane was the only one who was doing anything in these practices and like Tez Walker, oh, he just doesn't look like he's going to be the guy for us or a guy for us. Elijah Surratt, not looking like that good of a pick, you know, in hindsight. Even though apparently he's a little bit banged up right now, he's kind of playing through it. I do love to hear that those guys are stepping up and making plays in training camp. And it's not just Jacoby. Love Jacoby, right? But I need to know that there's some depth there for Lamar Jackson. I need to know there's some depth there. You also had wide receiver Cornelius Johnson, who made the catch of the day with a diving touchdown grab. Shout out to Cornelius Johnson. Probably ain't making the team, but shout out to him, right? Defensive tackle Aeneas Peebles had himself a good day today. He returned to the field after being sidelined and was almost too quick on one snap when he nearly took the handoff from Jackson himself. Peebles also batted down a pass later in practice. So love the batted down pass from Peebles, but I mean, Peebles get off, right? That's kind of like the best thing working for him, right? He's so quick off the ball. So quick off the ball. I can only imagine like he gets rotated in against a tired offensive line and they don't know what's coming because like they're not checking for him during film study during the week. And it's like this guy just blows right by you. I could see Aeneas Peebles, getting perhaps a couple garbage time sacks this season. Dare I say. Give me 2 sacks for Aeneas Peebles this year. Give me 2 sacks. I ain't asking for much. But I'm thinking garbage time, game's clearly over. Teams are trying to throw their way back into it. Their offensive line is tired. Rotate Aeneas Peebles in. Rips right through the offensive line, gets to the quarterback before he even has a chance to hit his 3-step drop. I can see it. Let me know if you could too. Dylan says only 2. Yeah, man, because I just don't think that he's going to be in the rotation heavily enough to warrant more. I would love more. Chris has give Sutton 2 sacks. What up, Chris? What up? All right. 2 sacks in one game or the whole preseason. I'm saying 2 sacks on the season, world class. I'm saying 2 sacks on the season. It's already hard enough for interior D linemen to get sacks, but especially when you're not the first string guy, a little bit tougher. But again, I think he gets a couple of opportunities in garbage time. I do. All right. Moving on here. What else did we have from training camp today? Let me see. Let me actually go on Twitter here because I saw a couple of things that I wanted to point out. The new voice of the Ravens, Kyle Humans, he posts frequently some training camp updates, and I always find his very interesting. By the way, our guy Coach Sip Tutali Films did an interview with Kyle Humans last week. I don't know if you guys have seen that already, but it's a great interview. Make sure you go check it out. It's on his YouTube page. Let me see. Some impressive wins for Elijah Surratt in one-on-one and team drills. Yeah, we talked about that. TJ Tampa is flying around today. Love to hear that. Another practice of being impressed with Carson Vinson. He's made significant jumps from the tape I've watched. Listen, Carson Vinson, I don't know if we are currently grooming him to be Ronnie Stanley's successor, but that's what it feels like, right? That's what it feels like. That sure is what it feels like to me. So love to hear that. Tez Walker, we talked about him. Let me see. Definitely excited for Saturday. There was another one. Let me see. I saw it from my guy, Nikhil Mehta. Nick knows ball. Another Ravens beat reporter. You had obviously all the stuff with Nate Wiggins, but you also had a fight today. And he tweeted about that earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Jeez, man. He tweets a lot. A whole lot. Who was it? Of course, I can't find it while I'm on stream. All good. I think I put it in my bookmarks. See if I can find it in here. Because I really want to know who was scrapping. I think it was Emory Jones and somebody else. Who was it? Okay, here we go. The Ravens have mostly avoided the fights and scuffles that plague training camp this time of year. Had a little scrum today between Emory Jones and Jay Higgins. Okay, Jones put Higgins in the dirt on a run play, and Higgins wouldn't let go of his jersey. The two had to be separated. Emory Jones with a nice little pancake block, it looks like. That's what it sounded like to me, chat. Emory Jones hit our boy Jay Higgins. That's my boy. I love Jay Higgins. I mean, he's probably another guy who I'm looking at. Top 5, sneaky, right? Top 5 players I'm looking out for on Saturday and beyond in the preseason. But sounds like Emory Jones hit him with the pancake today, and like it happens. Like you get pancaked by a guy, and you just kind of hold the jersey because, like, nah, you ain't about to get up and stand over me. Now we're gonna squabble a little bit on the ground. We're gonna tussle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not about to just take this L. That's what I'm sure Jay Higgins. It's a pride thing. It's an ego thing. How about to just let no other grown man pancake you into the dirt, and then just let him up and walk off, step over you like Allen Iverson? Hell no. Higgins had to get him back a little bit. So I understand. A little chippiness, but I guess it didn't get too far. Emory's going to forever get into it with somebody. I'm cool with that. I'm so cool with that. I need to see Emory. I mean, Emory Jones, listen, I put it like this. John Simpson, your spot ain't safe. You're going to start, but that leash ain't going to be very long. I don't care how much they're paying you. Jesse Minter is not John Harbaugh. He's not about to just keep his guys out there because they're his guys, right? No, we're putting the best available product out on the field every single Sunday. We're not letting friendships dictate anything. We're not letting, insider relationships dictate any. No. Those days are over. So John Simpson, you better make sure you're showing up to play. And I think John Simpson will be serviceable for us. I think he's going to be serviceable, but you start losing a little bit too loud and a little bit too consistent, Emory Jones is right there. He's right there. Former 3rd round pick, just from last season. 3rd round pick out of LSU, big school. Played a couple of snaps for the Ravens. Was kind of thrown into the fire on Thanksgiving. Didn't look bad either. So Emory Jones is right there, nipping at his heels. Simpson could be the best. I mean, it's possible. I hope so. Honestly, no, I don't hope so. I hope they're all good, to be honest with you. But Emory Jones is right there, though. Don't forget to join the Rain Gang if you have not already. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying the content and you would like to support the channel. We'd appreciate that here at PRP. Okay. Easy G says, I see Adam Randall, that is, with 2 touchdowns Saturday. Jack and Elijah with 1. I'm going to tell you like this. Adam Randall, I could see a touchdown for Randall. I could see Adam Randall finishing up. He's probably on my top 5 as well. So who do I got? Like 4 now. I've got Rivers. I've got Higgins. I've got Randall now. And I said one more. I can't remember who it was right now. Maybe it was Tampa. Might have been Tampa. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was him. But I can see Randall getting a touchdown. He'll probably finish the day with, let's say, I say they'll probably give him 7 or 8 carries on Saturday, right? Because I think he'll probably play the bulk of the first half at least. So give me like 7 to 8 carries and give me like 68 yards, something like that. I feel like he can have a game like that and maybe a touchdown. I think maybe one big run where he springs it off for a touchdown. All the other runs are kind of like, smaller 2, 3 yard, 4 yard runs, things like that. Jacoby Lane, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be so honest with you, Easy G3. He'll probably end up finishing the day with 1 catch on 2 targets for like 11 yards. They're not going to play him that much. They are going to play him and just kind of give him the ball a few times just to see what he's got under the lights against another actual team. But outside of, I'd say, the first 2 drives, he ain't really going to see the field. He's not going to see the field. It's probably going to be 2 possessions for Lane and then go sit your ass on that bench. Surratt, I mean, especially with him being reportedly like banged up and things like that, not looking the same. Probably the same for him. Might even be worse. He might get 1 target, no receptions, no yards. Now, Tez is a preseason demon. Tez, I can see him going for like 4 catches, you know what I'm saying? Like 60, 70 yards, something like that. I could see Tez doing some work. But a lot of those other guys, especially Jacoby Lane's not going to get the opportunity. Not in week 1 of the preseason. Let me see. Zion Young. Oh, I said Quavis. That's right. I did say Quavis. That's right, Chris. Thank you, Chris. So yeah, I'd say Quavis is up there too, but then Zion Young, he's definitely up there for me as well. Apparently, according to people who have been at training camp, Zion Young, he looks extremely powerful. He's moving dudes out of the way with ease. Right? Little boy and dudes. Like I need to see that in real time. Okay. All right. Kelani Lane is nuts, world class. That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Let's get into who did not practice today and who came back as well. Let's talk about that a little bit, right? So let me go ahead and go back onto my guy Jonas Schaefer's Twitter page. By the way, Twitter, if you're listening, X, if you're listening, please fix your freaking bookmarks on desktop. It's terrible. Things get out of order so easily. It's a struggle for your boy Sutton over here, chat. It is. But okay. Defensive lineman Travis Jones, big number 98. He is finally off the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list. That is great news. Great news, chat. He returned to practice today. I can't speak enough about it. I mean, Aeneas Peebles did as well. This defensive line room is finally coming into shape. It's finally coming into form. If you have a healthy Travis Jones, if you have a even 80%, hopefully 90 or closer to 100% Nnamdi Matter BK, listen, man. Listen, I do feel like, because I was doing a little bit of research earlier on personnels and fronts that Jesse Minter likes to use. I do feel like when we run some variation of like 4-2-5, four linemen down, two big defensive tackles in the middle, Travis Jones and Nnamdi Matter BK, two guys who can two gap, and two guys who, if teams want to run duo at them, one of those guys is beating a double team. I just feel like it's such a force multiplier having both of those guys on the front. Like I told you guys, I was watching some old Ravens games, like the ones from last season, the ones we lost, because they were painful in the moment. I hadn't rewatched them until just now. The lack of interior pressure that the Ravens were getting was asinine. Asinine. You could tell Travis Jones, he knew he was running into a double team every single play, damn near. Can't do that now with Nnamdi Matter BK back. Can't do that with Calais Campbell lined up next to him as well. Can't do that, hopefully with John Jenkins. I mean, John Jenkins, more of a run stopper, right? We're not really expecting him to do too much outside of kind of clog up those running lanes, be like a glorified or poor man's Michael Pierce for us for at least one more season, right? But man, I mean, I think this D-line, if they're all healthy, there's some depth there. There's some depth there. And to be honest with you, with the secondary, specifically the corners, that room not looking quite as good as it possibly could right now in terms of like health and things like that, makes the D-line even that much more important. Because what's the best way to hide a banged up secondary? Great pass rush, interior pressure, right? Making sure the quarterback's eyes can't easily travel to all of his receivers and go through his progressions easily. Bring the quarterback's eyes down in front of him. Okay, where's 92? Where's 92 at? Where's 98? Okay. Trey Hendrickson on the outside. Oh, yeah, I forgot about him. Let me make sure I'm checking where he's at. Oh, that's right, Kyle Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's how you protect a secondary. You make that quarterback nervous. You make that quarterback nervous. Okay. So let me see. Oh, yeah. Another person who returned to practice today was Zay Flowers. Wide receiver Zay Flowers. I kind of touched on it earlier today. Zay, man. I mean, look, man. You talk about. I gotta give props to Zay Flowers for being as durable as he is, for as small as he is. To have that left quad contusion just Sunday? Or was it Saturday, I want to say? He missed Sunday's practice. They didn't practice yesterday. And now he's already back on the field. And looking smooth, too. Looking smooth. You would have never guessed that he just banged up his leg the other day. He looks smooth out there. So shout out to Zay Flowers. He's back in the fold. We're still tracking for having all of our most important players available for week 1. We're still tracking for that. We're still tracking. You also had Keon Martin return back to practice today. Love to hear that. Keon Martin's been making plays. Need to see him do it more. Would love to see him get more of an opportunity. Like I said, in these dime looks, Keon Martin's on the field. You're going to see Keon Martin, I don't want to say a lot during the regular season, but a healthy amount. A very healthy amount. Expect that. Okay, missing at today's practice. Willpower Flowers. I like that. Missing from today's practice, you had as follows: quarterback Skylar Thompson, running back Rasheen Ali, wide receiver Rashad Bateman. Wide receiver Dayton Wade, inside linebacker Carl Jones, of course, inside linebacker Teddy Buchanan, and safety Jaquez Robinson. Elephant in the room. Elephant in the room. Obviously, Rashad Bateman not practicing today. Not ideal. Okay, not ideal. I think it could be more so of just like a either is something that's lingering that we don't really know about that hasn't been reported, like an injury, or it's just a vet day. One of the two. I mean, Rashad Bateman is going into what, year 6 now? It could just be a vet day. Zay's back. Okay, Rashad Bateman, take a day off. Is what it is. Apparently, in the last practice, you had Jalen Hawkins, who at this point we should just nickname him Hitman Hawkins, right? The second coming of Bernard Pollard, right? For this Ravens secondary. He hit Rashad Bateman pretty hard. Bateman was a little slow to get up. And yeah. So with Jalen Hawkins, man, and just real quick, sticking on him, because I don't want to overreact to the Rashad Bateman stuff. I know some of you guys might. Oh, you know, both sides, your boy Bateman not practicing. Oh, we trade him. You know how y'all do. But no, talking about Jalen Hawkins, he's been smacking shit. I mean, he's just catching bodies left and right. Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, Nate Wiggins, just catching bodies left and right. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I've been watching some older Ravens games. You know what else happened in that Patriots game this past season? A lot of y'all might forgot. But Jalen Hawkins actually forced a fumble on Derrick Henry in that game. Jalen Hawkins, he is a physical. He's a beast. Probably one of the most underrated offseason acquisitions for the Ravens this year. I know Trey Hendrickson in the draft, Vinga Ioane, you know, who else was a big one? Those are the two ones that really come to mind. The biggest offseason acquisitions for the Ravens, at least personnel-wise. But Jalen Hawkins, no one's talking about it. But I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I expect him to have a couple of forced fumbles this season. I do. He's a hard-hitting son of a gun. He is. Oh my God. Tila says, y'all remember that one clip of Anthony Weaver when he was still with the Dolphins? He said all of our problems can be solved with violence. And that's a fact. I mean, let Tony Weaver coach those guys up and get those guys in that mentality, like that violent mentality. And you pair that with the genius scheme of Jesse Minter, the league ain't going to know what hit him. They're not going to know what hit them. They're going to look up in week 7 and the Ravens are 7-0 and be like, wait, I thought the Ravens were supposed to have a rebuild year. Wait a minute. They got a rookie head coach. They got rid of the greatest coach of all time and John Harbaugh. They were supposed to regress. You just wait. That's what they're going to say. They're going to be looking stupid when they're then forced to rebuy up all the Raven stock that they sold in July and August. Just wait on it. All right. Miss Fancy Pants. What's going on, Miss Fancy Pants? Thank you for coming through. Another member in the chat. Thank you. Okay. What else did we have here from practice? So those were the guys who were there and were not there. I think we got through the other thing I wanted to touch on as well. And we're already over an hour in. Wow. Crazy. Around the league. Let's go around the league here, shall we? Shall we? So a couple news pieces, stories came out today from around the league. I do want to show you guys, first off, because you're getting some joint practices. We got some joint practices going on. I wish the Ravens had theirs already, but we don't. Right? We don't have ours until I think, next week against the Vikings or something like that? I think. Don't quote me on that. As a matter of fact, please correct me in the chat. I'd love to know. But one thing I want to show you guys, over in New England, you have the Patriots having their first joint practice with the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis Colts. So let's take a look at this. This is A.J. Brown going one-on-one with Sauce Gardner. And A.J. Oh, let me take off the crowd noise. We don't need that. A.J. Brown's going to run a little comeback route here. Oof. Sauce Gardner touches earth. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. A.J. Brown turns Sauce Gardner into a defensive lineman in a stance perfectly. Look at that. It don't get no better than the hand in the dirt. Feel me? Bud in the air. Pause. Great form here from Sauce Gardner. Great form. Great form. But A.J. Brown, yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown, he's still as advertised, man. Still as advertised. Catches the ball easily, gets upfield. The best thing about this route here, and the reason why I love A.J. Brown so much, I mean, to me, I'm not speaking for y'all. I'm not speaking for anybody else in the league, but to me, A.J. Brown is still a top 3 wide receiver in this league. To me. And it's because he can do stuff like this. A.J. Brown does not have to be the greatest separator. He does not have to be the greatest route runner. He can run routes pretty well now. But he doesn't have to be the greatest separator. You want to know why? Because if you watch this clip again, and it's going to run again in a second here, at the very top of this route, look how subtle he is with his physicality. He's so big and strong. All he has to do at the top of the route, put one hand, just maybe one or two hands, just touch Sauce Gardner here. And Sauce Gardner falls down. He can't keep up. Now, Sauce was getting a little bit off balance anyway because A.J. Brown comes out of his break pretty well right there. But look at this. Subtle touch on the ground. Now I'm wide open. That's what A.J. Brown can offer you. That is what works in this league. And it doesn't only just work in the months of August, September, October. That works in December, January, and February. It's proven. That is what a wide receiver 1 looks like. People be rating A.J. Brown. Oh, he's like 8th best in the... No. If I'm starting a franchise right now today, there's only about maybe 2 guys, 3 max that I'm taking over A.J. Brown. Period. End of discussion. And those couple guys are probably who? Jamar Chase. You know what I mean? Chase. I mean... Jamar Chase, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't. Okay, maybe Puka, right? I'm not putting JSN over him. Sorry. I'm not putting Amon-Ra over. I'm not taking Amon-Ra over him. This is just my personal opinion. You don't have to feel this way. A lot of guys I'm not taking. I'm not taking Drake London over him. I'm not taking CD over him. I'm not taking Pickens. Give me A.J. Brown. Also, his mentality. Hey, I want to dominate. Dude won the Super Bowl and said it didn't feel that fun because I didn't dominate how I wanted to. That's the receiver that I want. That's the mentality I need on my team. A.J. Brown is like that. He is like that. Jettas? Love Jettas. Don't get me wrong. Love Jettas. Love them. But if I'm starting a franchise today, and maybe this is why I'm not a GM, but I'm taking A.J. Brown. Devontae over A.J. is crazy. Crazy. Yeah, Bateman's definitely not one of them. Definitely not one of them. Mike said, y'all impressed by that clip and that little route? Yeah, Sauce Gardner, he did take to Twitter. I mean, he got his Twitter fingers out and popping. You know, and he said, oh, yeah, y'all thought that route was cool. You feel me? It was a little sassy, too. It gave me like vintage Jalen Ramsey vibes. It's like, oh, y'all didn't show the other plays. You want to know why? Shush emoji, lockdown emoji. All right, bro. We get it. I mean, you got cooked here. Made you touch earth. Turn you to a defensive lineman. You feel me? It's all good. You'll bounce back. From it. SV Cam says you're doing a great job, Sutton. Thank you, SV Cam. That means a lot to me. That means the world to me, actually. That type of support. Boy said, "You tell me." You tell me. Exactly. That's the energy he was giving in that tweet. Neither here nor there. Neither here nor there, though. Let me go ahead and get into something else here. What else happened around the league today that I want to bring up to you guys? So we talk about injury scares, right? You did have Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua, who I just mentioned, actually. He left practice early today with an injury, but the team is currently unsure what the injury is. So we've got like a mystery Puka injury. I'm not really sure. I mean, were you watching him when he got injured? I mean, was he limping? Was he holding his arm? Was he favoring his neck or something? Like, what was it? I don't understand this mystery injury here. Were we not watching what was going on? Maybe there's another update to this story here that I'm not seeing here, but apparently Puka got a little bit rattled today. Was a little bit shaken up. Okay. But yeah, Puka, top 5 in the league easily. Top 5 in the league easily. I'd probably take Puka over AJ Brown, but it's Puka, Jamar Chase, maybe Justin Jefferson, and that's it for me. That's it for me. Okay. So that's Puka Nacua there. Don't need to spend too much time on that. What else do we have? Oh, okay. So there was this too. This is a little bit of a weird story here. Eagles. Let's talk some Eagles. A wild situation involving current and former Eagles players is unfolding right now. Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, and Terrell Edmonds were reportedly among the NFL players who lost money in an alleged e-commerce investment scheme linked to former Cardinals GM Steve Keim and his business associate Mohamed Koulibaly. Now, Mohamed Koulibaly has reportedly been found dead at just 24 years old as questions surrounding the alleged scheme continue. So, breaking this down, right? Let me take a sip of this wine here before I get stressed. Okay. So apparently, the former Cardinals general manager and his business partner, whoever this Muhammad guy is, they were getting players, NFL players, to invest in an e-commerce investment scheme. Basically told some of these players, hey, look, you give us X amount of money, we can double, triple that in a year or 2 years or whatever. And these players said, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, we down to flip some money. We could do that. I mean, they got the money to do it. So they did it. And they found out it was a scheme. They lost their money. And now one of these guys who was putting on the scheme, he ends up dead. And they say that the players that were involved, or some of the players who lost money, were Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, and Terrell Edmonds. And I guess apparently that's not all of them. Now, I'm not here to say that Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, and or Terrell Edmonds got it back in blood. But that's kind of what that's given here. Again, I don't want to put that on them. Jalen Carter, I don't want to put murder on the man. But we do know he got some character traits, let's just call it that would align with something like this. You know, there was the car accident with his friends where I think his friend had died, right? There's the Dak spitting incident where on national TV, he didn't give a damn. He's like, I'm going to spit right on you on national TV with almost 100 million people watching, opening night of the NFL. There's some character traits there with specifically Big Jalen Carter here. So I don't know. He said, hey, man, we all got that one cousin that, well, you know, yeah, he up for it. I mean, he down for it. Like, whatever you on, he on. He will up it, as the kids say. So, yeah, I don't want to put that accusation on him. I'd love to see how this story ends up developing. But I just think the wild part about it is that this guy actually died. He was found dead at 24 years old. Like the guy, I guess the guy who was part of this scheme. So I'm suspecting foul play because 24-year-olds don't just like up and die like that. We don't know if he was dealing with some sort of health complications, nothing like that. But apparently he was just found dead. So a story to monitor for sure. And that's pretty big news in my estimation. So I will continue to monitor that in the weeks to come here. We'll see what comes out of that. Also, let me see here. Kind of going back to halfway Ravens news, but also broader NFL news as well. I saw this earlier today, and I wanted to talk to you guys about it, get you guys' opinion on it, even though you might not have much of an opinion on this one. But I don't know if you guys saw this, but new in 2026, the NFL will allow head coaches to designate a member of their sideline staff to throw the red challenge flag. Teams must inform officials before the game if someone else has been designated. Previously, only the head coach could initiate a replay challenge. So we all knew that normally it's the head coach who's throwing the challenge flag. Now the NFL is saying, hey, look, you can designate somebody else on your sideline staff to throw that red challenge flag. Now, a lot of you guys might say, well, what does this mean? So I'm like, how does this even make sense? Like, why do they need that? I'm thinking the reasoning behind it is because normally when a team decides to challenge, it's not just because the coach has it in his own head. Like, hey, I want to challenge that. No, there's guys up in the booth at the top of the stadium who are watching the game top down from a bird's eye view. But not only that, they're also watching the broadcast like we see at home. And I'm sure they've got other special cameras that they can look at too. So they're analyzing in real time whether or not their team needs to challenge the play because they have all the best views, right? And so now I think that what they're doing is they're going to say, hey, look, you can designate somebody else to throw that challenge flag because I feel like that somebody else, whoever that is going to have direct one-to-one communication with the guys up in the booth about potential challenges, and that's it. Like, that's it. There's not going to be any schemes or, like, oh, here's what we're running next. Or no, it's literally your job is to sit there on the field and listen out for when we say, hey, look, we want to challenge this. Go and throw the flag now. Not to get mixed in with all the other scheme. Oh, here's the next play, or here's what we're going to do coming up here in the next series. Or what? No, none of that. One-to-one communication about strictly replay challenges. That's what I think is happening here. And apparently, I think Jesse Minter was asked about it, and Jesse Minter said that he has not made a final decision about how the Ravens will approach challenges this year. May try it a couple of ways in the preseason to see what gives us the best opportunity as a team. So, that love to hear the open-mindedness there. We'll see what they do. I really don't have too much to say about that. We'll see what they do. Also, we're going to get our first chance to see whether or not our coordinator, specifically Declan Doyle, is going to be calling plays on the field or if he's going to be calling plays from the booth up top. Now, I've been an advocate, a proponent, if you will, of him being on the field and collaborating in real time with the players. I think that would bring him closer to the players. I think that would build trust between him and the players. And it was just, it would strengthen their relationship. I already feel like him and the guys have a pretty strong relationship. He's a similar age, Declan Doyle is, to those guys. He's calling them by their nicknames. He's calling Lamar Jackson L. He's calling Jacoby Lane Jack. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of the guys. So I want to see him on the field with the rest of the guys. That's just me. Declan said earlier this offseason that he's going to probably try both. He's going to experiment with both, see what he likes. But it'll be interesting to see what he starts with on Saturday. I'm predicting he's going to be on that field Saturday. I need my boy Declan Doyle. I need him in the field. In the field. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. I don't know how I missed this. I'm so glad that I got reminded here. World Class just reminded me before I wrap up here on this episode of the show. Preseason starters. World Class says, Sutton, what do you think about Lamar not playing in the preseason? Because I really think he should. So I see it a couple different ways. My knee-jerk reaction to Jesse Minter saying that Lamar would not play in the preseason. I said, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. Lamar, I mean, even if it's just for one possession or two possessions in the last preseason game of the preseason, we need him to be out there to kind of get used to the actual game speed again, get used to, you know, the physicality of it, maybe even get hit once or twice. You know, because you want to build that muscle memory of what that's like. It's a little bit, I'd say, shocking, jarring. You have a little bit more of a ramp up period when you don't play any preseason games. We've seen this before. We've seen it before. So I would have liked for him to play at least a possession or two in at least one of those games. However, I do also understand that preseason is for finding what works. And since we already know Lamar Jackson works and works very well, I do also see the standpoint of, hey, look, like behind like a rotating offensive line, we don't want Lamar Jackson out there, you know, with guys who we don't know if they're going to be able to protect him. Because who's to say that all five of the offensive linemen start if Lamar Jackson does? We just don't know. Again, preseason is for figuring things out. Lamar Jackson has already figured things out. I mean, in year 9, he has nothing to prove. I just would have liked him to play at least one series, maybe two tops. You know, so it's kind of like I see both sides there, world class. But at the end of the day, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at Lamar Jackson not playing in the preseason. Now, Jesse Minter did also say that a couple of like established names won't be playing in the preseason. I'm assuming that means guys like Hamilton, guys like Mark Andrews, Roquan Smith, Derrick Henry, Ronnie Stanley, you know, the vets, they won't be playing. Everybody outside of that, hey, look, I need Vanga. You know what I'm saying? I need Hawkins out there, Starks. Of course, I think Justice Hill, Randall will be out there, of course, like I mentioned before. In terms of the receivers, I need Bateman out there. You know, I need to see Zay for a series. Although they'll probably end up sitting Zay because Zay is just coming back from an injury, just paid him a boatload of money. Yeah, he's not going to play either. Add him to that vet list. But Bate, if he's healthy, I want to see him. Jacoby Lane, put him out there. And again, like I said before, I only think Jacoby Lane, maybe you get 2 possessions, 3 tops of number 6 on the field. Outside of that, he on the bench. And I agree. We don't need our starters out there. I just do feel like in order for us, because here's the thing. The last thing that I want, it would drive me crazy if the Ravens start slow this regular season. Because we saw what happened last year when the Ravens started off 1-5. And basically the rest of the season was just trying to play catch up, desperately trying to just fight for your life. I mean, when you start fast, it gives you so much more of a cushion going on to later the season. Like your margin for error is not as tight. And I just feel like getting those guys at least a little bit warmed up so that when they go into Indianapolis week 1, they're flying around the field. They're ready to go. They're not playing timid. That sort of thing. I need Lamar Jackson to test that speed, like truly, with a defender who's not on his team running after him. Truly test that speed. Where is it at? We need to know. But again, I'm not mad at him not doing it either because I have all faith in him being, at least Lamar Jackson, being able to come out there and play up to the standard we're all accustomed to. I thought Minter said no for all the preseason games for Lamar. He did. Yeah, Lamar Jackson will not play in any preseason games, per Jesse Minter. Let me see. Joanne says most teams who win play their starters for at least a series or 2. Yeah. See, yes, son. I think the preseason will allow us to start fast like the Chiefs did against us for years. Yeah. Got to start fast. Because last thing I want, man, you know, you mess around, come out there, drop game 1 to the Colts. Now you have to make a statement against the Saints. And then, now we got the Cowboys in Brazil. And then it starts to get slowly but surely tougher after that. You know, I mean, we still got the Titans and the Falcons mixed in and stuff like that, but it's only going to get harder. So you have to get these gimmies. I mean, the first 7 weeks are against teams who did not make the playoffs last season. You got to come out those first 7 weeks at least 5-2. At least 5-2. Because again, it's only going to get harder as the season goes on. So starting fast is imperative for me. And I think the way to do that is to get those guys some reps, at least some reps in the preseason. That's what I think. That's what I think. But all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this. Oh, you know what? I can't. Void is asking me to answer his mailbag question from yesterday. Let me find it. I told you I would answer it on this one. I will. I got you. Let me go ahead and see if I can find that again before I wrap up here. Again, like the video, y'all. If you have not already, we'd appreciate that. The support here on this channel means everything to us. Means everything. Let me see. Where do you put that at? Mailbag. Okay, here we go. Long-winded Bateman question. Void says, you've mentioned a few times that Rashad Bateman, quote unquote, has all the tools to be a great receiver, yet going into year 6, we have a 700-yard ceiling in regards to his play. He said he made an edit in the mid part of the stream because you are not about to get off that 9 touchdowns equals 1,000 yards goalpost moving nonsense. 10 touchdowns in the regular season equals 1,000 yards. 1 touchdown equals 100 yards minimum. No, that's not the equivalent. It's not the equivalent. And you can actually go and look up. Like I did research on the past 20 years of the NFL, and it is true that about that 1,000 yards is equal to about a 7 touchdown season. Let me see. He says, especially since outside of Lamar Jackson, he was not a priority. 1 Henry, 2 Mark, or 3 Zay on any defense's board. Okay, in terms of who you got a game plan for. At what point do we stop evaluating Rashad Bateman based on potential? Let's see, there's more. And start evaluating him strictly on production, cheap or not. He's not a rookie deal. He's not on a rookie deal anymore. And as a former first-round pick, he should not be receiving the excess grace we give to young players. This is fair. This is fair. Yes, you would expect for Rashad Bateman, if he was, again, a former first-round pick, to have given us more production than he has thus far. However, I would contest this argument by saying that he hasn't had the fairest of shakes. He just hasn't had a fair shake with this Ravens team. Again, first couple of seasons, he was dealing with some injuries. And once he finally he kind of shook the injury bug. Really, the first year that he fully shook the injury bug, what did he do? 11 touchdowns on the season, 700 some yards. And the offensive line was decent too that year. And Lamar Jackson was healthy. So my point is, and of course, once they drafted Zay became like the flower child, for lack of better words, no pun intended, right? Zay became the flower child of the Ravens wide receiver room, and that kind of left Rashad Bateman in this weird spot. You guys seen the Toy Story meme where Woody drops Andy drops the Woody toy. He's like, I don't want to play with you anymore. Because you got this new Zay Flowers, this Buzz Lightyear, and he's so cool, and he's shifty, and he's a joystick, right? So Rashad Bateman was kind of forced to take a back seat. Now, with Declan Doyle, and us knowing what he can do in terms of like spreading the ball out, making sure that everybody eats, I fully expect Rashad Bateman to have another bounce back season. I do. And if that looks like 700 to 1,000 yards for Bateman, cool. But my main thing is I know Zay Flowers is going to eat up a lot of green. Hell, even Jacoby Lane, maybe even. Mark Andrews. I need somebody who's going to punch that ball into the end zone. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. And Rashad Bateman, as we know, is fully capable of that. Fully capable of it. So, Void, we're going to see. Your name is in the book highlighted. So don't even worry about that. We're going to see. But like I said, I will be judging him off of his production this year. If Rashad Bateman is not productive this year, and by productive, I mean like at least like 600 yards, 6-7 touchdowns, then yeah, it's probably going to be curtains for him. I've said this before, Void. I've said this. As much as I prop up Bateman, I'm real about that. Because Zay Flowers just got paid $35 million a year. Jacoby Lane is looking like a world beater in training camp. So, and God forbid one of these tight ends break out, then Bateman's really going to be the odd man out. But if Bateman can hold his own, he can earn his keep by, just a good 600 to 700 yards, but more importantly, being that red zone threat for Lamar. Okay. I'll just leave it at that. Is Bateman paying me or something? I wish. That'd be dope, right? So do you think Harbaugh was holding Bateman back? Absolutely. Harbaugh, but also mainly like Zay Flowers as well. Like I said, I was watching a lot of those Ravens games last night. I watched the Patriots. I watched the Packers. I think I'm gonna do the Vikings tonight. I know we won that game. I think I'm gonna do the Vikings tonight. But yeah, it was Todd Monken a lot too, especially in 2025. You had Bateman running clear out routes, literally just running a deep post on, I don't know, second and short or something, just to draw defenders away from Zay Flowers, just to draw defenders away from Mark Andrews, threatening over the top of the defense. Put Rashad, move him around some, get him over the middle, get him working the intermediate part of the field. That's where he's going to eat. I think Declan Doyle does that for him this year. I do. Bateman was relegated to the boundary with no pass protection. Yeah, well, what do you want him to do out there? What do you want him to do? Like, Lamar can't hold the ball for more than a second or two before there's a guy in his face because Falele or Voorhees or whoever just completely whiffed on their block. You're running deep. You know what I'm saying? On a clear out route. Zay Flowers is the only one who's kind of like available for Lamar. Him and Mark Andrews, sometimes Isaiah Likely. He just didn't really get a fair shake. Scheme-wise, of course, them drafting another wide receiver, a year or two after they drafted him? I think 2 years. So, but we'll see this year. I normally rewatch all the games. I could not rewatch a single one. They were pretty much all painful, except the one against the Vikings. Yeah. You know what's crazy? Oh, there's one thing I forgot to cover, guys. Vikings starting quarterback is Kyler Murray. They've made that official. They are making JJ McCarthy, 23-year-old JJ McCarthy, take a back seat to Kyler Murray, which I think makes all the sense in the world. You're getting Kyler Murray on the cheap. I think they're only paying him like $1 million this year or something like that. His cap hit is. So you're basically getting Kyler Murray for free, who's still a very talented quarterback. Arizona's just pretty much a dumpster fire. I think they'll be better this year with Mike LaFleur, but in years past, just a dumpster fire. And you got to see what's left of Kyler Murray before you just say, okay, we had the Kyler Murray experience. Let's go back to JJ McCarthy. You have to see what Kyler Murray has. But JJ McCarthy, by and large, last season was very bad. However, the first half of that Ravens-Vikings game, boy, he had us on the ropes. I'm telling you. Maybe at least like that first quarter, but Zach Orr's defense was making JJ McCarthy look damn good. I remember that. I don't know if y'all remember that, but I remember that. Like kind of low-key frying us. We kind of put it to a stop, I think, in the second half of that game. But he was low-key cooking us. I'm not gonna lie. All right. Hour and a half in to this episode. Thank you so much. Thank y'all so much for coming through to this one. Please be sure to like the video, sub to the channel as well. Again, tomorrow, do another Quiet Storm episode, a Quiet Storm Sports episode with Coach and Nitro. Should be a lot of fun. Make sure you come through, chop it up with us. We'd appreciate that. But again, I love you guys. Appreciate all of you guys from the bottom of my heart. It's your boy Sutton here. Stay positive, test negative. Never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God in May purple rain. And listen, if you want to play in that fantasy league and you're a member, go on the YouTube page, go on our YouTube channel, click on the post tab. If you're a member, you'll see the link to the fantasy league. Still a few spots available. I don't know if it will be by the time you're listening to this, if you're part of Replay Gang, but go check it out. But again, yeah, May purple rain. Love you guys, and peace.
You're watching Quiet Storm Sports on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Subscribe for more Ravens content.